Welcome to Thoughts on Prepping. This is a channel introduction. Even though I put out a few videos, I had already prepared this, so I thought I would go ahead and just present it anyway. So I'm just getting started. I have put together a lot of stuff in the past, but never really organized it. So I'm going to set some goals for myself since I tend to think a whole lot and not do things. So I am going to publicly humiliate myself by saying I'm going to do something and make sure I do it. So I've got some goals to set. Everybody does their little goal list. So I'm going to focus on 72 hours for now and get everything prepared that in all areas for the 72-hour timeline. And then I'll grow from there. I'm going to start with what I already have, and I actually have a huge amount that I didn't realize, but I've already done 2 videos on what I found when I looked around my house. The third bullet point refers to a video by Zombie Tactics. It's called The Coin Jar, and he does what a lot of us do is, you're prepping and you think of things you need, and as you're going about your errands, you'll see, oh, I need to pick that up. That's something I need, and you throw it in the shopping cart and you get it. But it's brilliant for me, who's very disorganized, is that he just says, put a bucket there to throw in all the stuff you buy. So like a coin jar, when you pull out all your change from the day and you put it in the piggy bank, you'll have something like a laundry basket or a 5-gallon plastic container or something where you just put whatever you bought into that, and then you have your stuff together. And I've started doing that, and then eventually I'll be able to go ahead and farm out everything I need for which backpack and which car, dog, whatever. Okay, and I'm not going to spend a fortune because no one has a fortune, and I'd like to be done within 3 to 5 months. So, in the to-do side, I have found out what I already have mostly. I did the 2 videos, I found more stuff, and then there might be one more place to look, but I think I've got everything. And then for the coin jar concept, I just need to systematically do what I need to do. Instead of just thinking, oh, I might need this, I'm going to keep a list of what I need, then buy the thing if I come across it, and then come home and put it in the central location so I don't forget that I have it, which is the amount of first aid things I have is incredible because I forgot I had things. Okay, and then lastly, I'm not going to fucking procrastinate, because if I do, then I won't be able to get done in 3 to 5 months. So here are the things I want to prepare. I need to get the car emergency kit, bug out bags for me, my boyfriend, and the dog, EDC/get home, carry, and then preparing the house for bugging in for 72 hours to a week, somewhere in there. For me, I have some special areas of concern as far as air travel, because I do travel for a living. Everything that I carry has to be TSA compliant. I'm a woman, so there's extra things to think about. And then I also have a dog. So for the car emergency kit, here are the things that pop into my head when I think about putting this together. So you put your car emergency kit together, and it says, keep some extra oil and spark plugs. I have no idea what kind of oil goes in my car, and I couldn't even tell you. I know what a spark plug, I think, looks like. So I need to know what those things are so that I can put the kit together. I also think about breaking down, which I would have to just call AAA and then wait and lock myself in my car until something happens. And then fuel. Now, I don't know. I was thinking if I could keep like a gallon of gas in the car. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't know if it's safe to put an extra gallon of gas in your car, say in a standard gas container. Also, if there's no electricity and I need gas, which I'd probably be walking, but anyway, where would I get gas? And I have a hybrid, so my car can get like 400 miles on 9 gallons of gas, so it might not even be that huge a deal. If things got that bad, I'd probably be walking anyway. Anyway, so now I've got my to-do items. I have to get out the manual from the car and find out what parts go with the car and get them. And then I have to get the car serviced and keep it in good working order so I don't break down. And right now the maintenance light is on. And as soon as I finish this presentation, I'm going to call the the Toyota place. Then I don't know how to change a tire. I mean, I've watched videos. I've never done it myself. And I'm afraid to jump start the car. I've always been afraid if I've ever had to have that done. It makes me very nervous. So I have to find a way. I'll get my boyfriend to show me or something. And then also, I don't know about other areas where you can find gas similar to sources of water. I assume probably the other sources of fuel would fall under the category of stealing. So I don't know about that. Okay, so bugging out. So the very first thing that occurred to me is getting to my relatives versus staying with my community. I have 3 sets of relatives in the city, and of course I would want to be in touch with them and make sure that they are okay, but I wouldn't want to leave my own community here. I would want to help out as much as possible, help my neighbors, and work together. I would feel terrible about having to leave them. So that's something that I'll just have to figure out later, but that's foremost on my mind when I think about bugging out. And then again, when would I make the decision to bug out? And that's again just, you just find out. You can prepare your mind as much as possible for these things, and then you'll never know until if and when it happens. So anyway, I put a to-do list, the walking route to my family. So I know where they live, and I'm going to look on a map and just see what's easiest. I'm going to research more options about what makes a good bug out location, because I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I understand the concept, but I need to learn more about what other people consider a good bug out location, or ones that they've identified that don't involve, mountain climbing or something. I have to put together the bug out bags. And then I also very much need to work up the courage to talk to my relatives about these plans. And I worry they're going to think I'm crazy. I did talk to one family member, and she said that she had actually, before she had moved, they had a little sort of earthquake plan. But since then, they've let it sort of fall off the radar. And so at least they've been thinking about it. It won't seem so insane when I approach them with it. And so the next big deal for me is the dog. And the things I think about with him are, how will he react to his bug out bag? What will he do if he's off the leash? Take him to the dog park. He doesn't listen to me. He likes all the other dogs. So this would be something that really would worry me. Like, will he stay with me? Will he not stay with me in this sort of emergency situation? If there's loud noises, how will he react to those? He doesn't like thunder, but he doesn't freak out. He'll just sit next to me and quiver, and that's all he does. So he's not a maniac about it, but who knows? And how would he react to bad guys? He's a friendly, happy dog. He loves everybody, but who knows what would happen if somebody came and threatened me? And of course, I have endless what ifs when it comes to the dog. So on my to-do list, I have, I want to get him used to the backpack. I haven't picked out one yet. I know the one I like, and it costs a lot of money, so I'm sort of just still shopping around for that. And I'm going to be a lot better about basic obedience. I did just get him a few months ago. He's about 1.5 years, and I did some obedience. I need to do some more. He's a very distractible dog, but we'll keep working on it. I'm going to be much better about the obedience and make sure that the command is come and stay are firmly ingrained. So that will be safer for him. And then once I figure out a bugging out route, I'll just walk with him along the route so that he is familiar with it. It's not anything too unusual for him. Even if there's perhaps some chaos running around, at least he's familiar with the area. Also, I'm going to take a pet first aid class. They offer them in my area, very easy. And I have microchipped him. He has a pet license. He has all his shots. So he is all tricked out with that stuff. Okay, air travel. So the thing I think about really is weapons. I have to go through security at least twice a week at the airport. I thought about a tactical pen, but I really don't know if it'll go through security. I don't want to spend the money if it won't get through. I also thought, well, maybe I could just use a regular pen and stab someone in the eye if I have to. And I'm not really sure about that. The rest of the everyday carry stuff I pretty much have, and I'll do a video about that because I have a certain system I use, which I like. Also, anything I bring with me has to be carry-on only, and I'm not going to bring a heavy burden twice a week to the airport. I'm just not going to do it. So it has to be very light, very compact, and TSA compliant, and that's just the reality. One thing I hadn't thought about before, my brother who was in Cabo during the hurricane, he was in a hotel and the place was destroyed. And he was eventually able to get home. It was a big, blockbuster movie-worthy experience, which actually inspired me to do all of this. So I thought, I'm in a lot of hotels. I'm in a lot of places where I've never been before. What would I do? And so I did think, okay, I need to find out where the closest hospital is, because I've had, or was a strong possibility of having to take someone to the hospital from the hotel and had no idea where I was going to go. Anyway, so what I want to do is make sure I ask at the front desk, where's the closest urgent care, where's the closest hospital kind of thing. So I'm going to commit to doing that. If I am going to get extra food and water, I have to buy it there. I can't carry it with me. I can't bring it to the airport. So I'd have to be judicious with that. And I did download, this is a Kindle book called Bug Out Gear for Travelers by Tony Nestor. And this is a pretty good book. This is his website, Diamond Creek Press. So he has a bunch of different ones and practical, and I got this, here we go, Bug Out Gear for Travelers, and it's a very short book. It's $2. You can download it, and it has obviously you can use get a Kindle application if you don't have a Kindle. And one thing he put in there that I hadn't thought about was water sources. Using Google Earth and checking to see where the water was there as well. So I recommend that if you're a traveler. Okay, then thoughts about the body. So my first thought when I thought about this was I'm completely out of shape. And I don't even want to talk about from what heights I have fallen in the past 10 or 12 years. Anyway, so I really need to get in shape. Back in the late 90s, I was really, really into shortwave radio. And I loved listening to the homesteading shows that were on. And there was this radio station called Christian Super Patriot Radio. And I had it seemed like it was like sort of different militia groups preparing for Y2K. But they did such great shows on homesteading, survivalism, preparing, all of that. And one of the things they always said is you got to get out there every day with your backpack, your 70-pound backpack, and jog out there so that you can run for your life with this 70-pound backpack. And I thought, great, I'm going to do that. And now, 15 years later, I'm probably not going to have 70 pounds, but I would like to work up to 35 pounds. If I can have a 35-pound backpack and hike along, I'd be really satisfied with that. And then who knows, the sky's the limit. Okay, the other thing that I thought about too is there's certain ailments, we all have them, that might bug us on a daily basis, and they may turn into a horrible, awful thing if you're bugging out. Whereas every day, like my knee, I have this weird thing. It's weak in the morning. So when I go down the stairs, I have to sort of favor it for 1 or 2 steps, and then it sort of kicks in and it works. So I can imagine waking up and having to run down a steep hill. It would probably give out. And then I have arthritis in one of my big toes. I have to get surgery on it. So these little things. Do you need a hip replacement? Do you have a hernia right now that you're not getting fixed? Do you have back problems? Do you have neck problems? There's all sorts of things that on a daily basis, they bug you. You take your IBs, you do all that. But then, in in a bug out situation, you're going to have to be able to run and walk and do things. And so one of the things I committed to is I'm going to get these 2 issues of mine fixed. So my doctor gave me strengthening exercises for my knee. I just have to sit here and do them in front of the television. And then for my toe, I have to have surgery for it. I had it on the other foot before, totally cured it. I have to get the other foot done. And I don't know, I guess that's feasible in the next 3 to 5 months, even though I don't want to do it. Okay, and then morale. I'm going to do another video about this, but I was thinking a lot about morale boosters, and when I looked in some of the videos they have, they carry different things to boost morale, and I realized that morale, things that affect your morale are very, very subjective. It's what boosts your own morale and what kills your morale. And so I will do a couple of videos on that. I've got them pretty much worked out in my head. But as an example, so I'm going to identify what would boost my morale. And one thing, which is really silly, I realized over the weekend, I was in a meeting and somebody was sitting in the back of the room and they cut an orange because they were going to eat an orange, and the whole room just when you cut into an orange, the whole room you get that citrus smell. It goes throughout the whole room, and it's wonderful to smell that. And I thought, I should bring an orange with me, throw an orange into the bug out bag or something. But things like that, they're not hard. You're not, it's not like you're being goody two shoes or anything. It's just something that will brighten something up for you. So one of the things, really silly example, is a lot of people carry hard candy for energy because it has sugar. I happen to not like hard candy, but I love the sour ones. So I put Sour Patch Kids because I don't remember what they're called, and Sour Patch Kids might not even be around anymore, but I love those sour ones. So when I pack my bug out bag, it's going to have those candies in it and not the little peppermint thing. And then identifying killers. Morale killers are, if my clothes don't fit me and I'm uncomfortable, I will explode. I would not be a good person to be around. Everybody would have to run for cover. It would be terrible. So anything I'm going to be wearing, my clothes must fit me. And there's enough of that. So then community. Now, I live in an urban environment, so I have a lot of neighbors, and I see a lot of people on a daily basis. I don't, I don't live in a place that's everybody's far apart and they have 10 acres and stuff like that. So, but even though if you are on top of each other, you may not even know your own neighbors. There's plenty of people that you never see them. Everybody goes in and out of their houses. Nobody waves to each other. So, I meet my neighbors because I walk the dog, and I meet other people who walk their dogs. And so I'm also a very friendly person. If I see someone, I wave, I look them in the eye, I say good morning, whatever. And so I kind of recognize everybody who's around in this area. About 6 blocks away, there's a pretty bad area, and I can tell if there's someone in this neighborhood that shouldn't be here. But I don't know how many other people in my neighborhood know this. I don't, these are things that you really should know about your own community. Because if the shit hits the fan, I would want absolutely to help my neighbors and, bring them in here to eat whatever. I would open my home to them if I needed to. But not everybody. And so I think it's very important to know your community. And, if you want to build your community, I'm not talking about, you could have a block party over the summer or something just to get to know people. My way of doing it is just, I have to walk the dog and I see people all day long. Okay, weapons. So, I don't own any weapons anymore. I sold my guns because I needed the money, I've said. But I do have thoughts for the future about what kind of weapons I would have in the house or carry with me. So, this is just preliminary thoughts. So for the home, 12-gauge shotgun. I just think it's the best thing to have for home protection. As far as carrying, I have to decide between a revolver or a 9mm. I'm not really sure. They both have pros and cons. And then a big thing, which is not applicable really to this presentation, but I'm going to say anyway. When you think about weapons, you have to think about the legal issues. There's even intervening on someone's behalf if you're not even armed, but you go, somebody's getting beat up and you go and try to save them. You could be opening yourself up for a huge amount of legal stuff, even if you're just a witness. You never know what anything is going to turn into. And so when you just make a decision to intervene on someone's behalf, know that a legal machine could start. And so that's in a bug out situation, I think, too. It's something you have to put yourself in that mindset first to try and see what decision you might make in that kind of situation, just to prepare your mind beforehand. And then also the legal issues of pulling the trigger are even greater. So self-defense, I'm, of less than average height woman, and if some man is coming to attack me, and if I shoot and hurt or kill that person, I could still get in trouble. I grew up in New Jersey, so I know the laws there. I don't really know them in the state I live in right now. But those are, I think, for anybody who's going to carry weapons ever, those legal issues are something you need to think about. And the best place to get that information, I have people to talk to, is the NRA. I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. I really, really appreciate the education and the safety that they teach you. Every time I bought a gun, I would go. They do. The NRA does classes, at least they used to, called First Steps, where you get your first gun, and it's a one-on-one. They teach you how to take the gun apart, teach you everything about that gun, teach you how to shoot it, the whole thing. It's they're really, I can't recommend the NRA more highly enough, or I don't know, that's not good grammar. Anyway, so until I get my weapons, what's on my to-do list? So I can get some kick-ass speakers and play a recording of the shotgun reload pump sound. And outside of that, I need to save money, make a decision. I need to start shooting again because I haven't shot a gun in 13 years maybe. And so then eventually I would want to find my local NRA chapter and start hanging out there. And then I have some eventual to-dos here. So eventually get some education in survivalism or bushcraft. Again, start shooting again. I want to start doing IDPA competitions again. Those are totally a lot of fun. And then I noticed on some videos people talk about their local prepper groups, so people get together from that area, and I think it would be really great, again, for building community, having a network. I truly believe human beings are on this earth and they are successful because they are better in numbers together. And so I'm not a fan of the going at it alone thing. I think the more the merrier, and at least you can fight off the bad guys if you're in the road warrior situation. So anyway, that is the end of this presentation. Hope I didn't go on too long. Please leave me comments in the comments section with any questions, suggestions, or anything like that. And thank you very much for watching.